Well, hello everybody. Hello everybody. This is Louise Eddington with Utah for Bernie Sanders, and today I have with me Massimo Mascoli, who is here to speak to us about living in other countries and why we in the USA should not be afraid of being like other countries. So, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, tell me. We kind of connected on Facebook, and you said you had quite a lot to say about about living in Europe and other places. So.
Well, I try to be quick because I understand people don't want to stay in communication for a long time. But I lived 44 years in Italy, 3.5 years in France, 1 year in the UK, 15 years in the United States, and I have dual citizenship, both Italian and American. And on top of that, I worked for Scandinavian companies. I worked for Nokia in Finland. I worked for Ericsson in Sweden. I traveled for business in 50 countries in the world. So the important things that I learned is not only from the social, economic perspective, different kind of experiences, but basically also the difference in taxation. Because one of the major things that people are scared when they talk about Bernie Sanders is, oh my God, he will raise my taxes. So I try to do it very quickly. In the United States, there are 4 different kinds of taxations. One is your federal taxes, one is your state taxes, the sales taxes, and the most important one, and nobody mentioned, your private taxes, which are premiums and loans. This is the highest percentage of taxes that you pay, and it's totally uncontrolled because it's controlled by the corporations. And only 1/10 of these taxes is really used for your benefits, and the rest is for the CEO salaries and for administrations. In Europe, you have only, let's say, state taxes. You pay a little bit more proportional to income, and this is another thing that people, they don't understand. They always think, oh my God, I will be taxed 50%. That's not true. If you earn 40K in the United States, you're taxed 25%, let's say. In Europe, you are taxed, let's say, 28, 29%, but this includes also a free education, free healthcare, maternity leave, sick days, paid holidays, and everything related to that. I pay $250 a year for college, and I pay $15 for an operation in Paris, which if you say this in the United States, people, they don't believe you, and they say you're crazy, this is insane. But this is the reality. This is what it is.
Oh, I totally concur with that because, well, clearly I'm from the UK and I lived in Australia too, which also has a kind of a mix of private healthcare and public healthcare and higher taxes also. What's my question? How would you like to explain it simply to people? I mean, for a start, Bernie Sanders is actually not going to raise income tax on people until they reach quite a large amount, 250,000, right? Yeah. And then it's graduated. So really, from an independent point of view, for anybody earning less than $250,000, if all Bernie's plans came to fruition, they would be better off, right?
Absolutely. And as I said, and I noticed with the media, I noticed with everybody, the Hillary campaign and so on, there is a huge ignorance about the rest of the world. This is one of the major problems in the United States. We are talking about 7.2 billion people in 220 countries that are regularly ignored by the media. And the fact is, talking about taxes, I insist on the point of the private taxes. People should talk more and more and really characterize your premiums alone as the private taxes, because this is the burden that Bernie Sanders removed from you And this is what the people should understand. This is the major part of the taxation. And unless people don't understand this problem, they will continue to be scared about the idea that their taxes go up, while it's not true.
And in fact, even the income tax rates that he's proposing are actually lower than even Ronald Reagan had. So it's yeah, so there's really nothing to be scared of. And also, from a European point of view, you know, Bernie's often referred to as a socialist, and that brings up the fear here. Do you have anything to say? Anything to say about that?
Well, I can tell you one thing, and this is actually a very interesting thing, because on one side it could be from a European point of view, but on the other side is from the American who lived abroad, that actually gave a big witness. They're the witness of this revolution, because if you look at the numbers, almost 80%. Or 86% of the Americans in abroad, they voted for Bernie Sanders. So they understand what it means. And if you look at the places where they vote, and Bernie Sanders won, even in Afghanistan, in Iraq, where we went with war, not forget for a moment the industrialized countries. Hillary won only in Dominican Republic and in Nigeria. They were the only two countries where she won. While if you look around, Bernie won badly, in any other country in the world. So the American people that lived abroad are the best witness to talk about what's this experience, rather than myself, that I am both American and Italian, living here, and explain to you why things works abroad. They just said, they said in my place what the reality is. The American people, not even me.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, he did really well with the Democrats abroad, and the media rarely mention that. So, in fact,
they completely ignore it.
Yes. So, is there anything else you'd like to talk about before we finish? I really appreciate you giving your view, because, you know, from my perspective too, Americans are full of a lot of fear about a lot of things around change as they see as change, but it's actually not change. It's kind of going back to how Americans used to be when they were prosperous. So is there anything else you'd like to say?
Well, a couple of things, two more things very quickly. The first thing is that Bernie started this campaign talking about the revolution, and people are scared about this concept. But the reality is that if we go back in time, these were things that were applied in the United States many years ago. It's the situation that has changed in such a negative way in the last decades. So this is not really a revolution. People shouldn't be scared about the concept of revolution. I would use the word reappropriation rather than revolution. And probably Bernie should use this kind of word more. I'm reappropriating what you stole from me.
Yeah, yeah. And take it away from, you know, the big money corporate.
I mean, forget for a moment if you are a Western European or Australian or New Zealander, or if you are Canadian, it doesn't matter, or American. There were similarities in the 60s when the economic boom. There were a lot of similarities between these two worlds. They don't exist anymore. Europe and the other countries went their own way. America is going backward. So this is the first thing, so revolution. The second one is everybody's talking about the $15 minimum wage, but in reality, we shouldn't even vote for a minimum wage, because minimum wage should be adapted by inflation. In reality, if we adapted minimum wage by inflation in 2016, we shouldn't even talk about $15 an hour. We should talk about $20, $23 an hour. In Denmark, for instance, a person that works at McDonald's, they earn $23 an hour. And they also have free education, actually paid by the country. I mean, the government pay for them for their education, their college education, and they have all the benefits we were talking about before.
Yeah, people don't realize that because, well, economic inequality is just so vast now, and you're so right about the minimum wage. I think, $15, I couldn't support my family on that. So,
correct. I mean, $15 in New York is peanuts.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, it's crazy. You could maybe manage in some other states but
absolutely. Right now we have $9 an hour in New York, and I see my guys that work with me. They struggle. Sometimes they cannot come to work because they cannot afford to pay the transportation.
Wow.
I mean, it's criminal if you look at this, and it is totally ignored by the media. They talk about Donald Trump all the time, or about I could say side shows, rather than talking about the real problem.
Yeah.
And someone has to talk about this.
Yeah.
This is something that has to come out. And thank God that Bernie Sanders arrived. I was surprised. I didn't even hope that this could happen, and now it happened. And I'm fighting badly for him. I mean, I want him like ever before.
Me too. So yeah, on that note, really, I'd along with you, I think I would encourage everybody to phone bank if they don't live in any of the states that are left to vote. Go to the states if they can to help canvass, and just do whatever you can to get the word out. And because the more people get to know Bernie, the more votes he gets. Quite honestly.
Yeah. It was unlucky that unfortunately it wasn't well known at the beginning of the campaign.
Yeah.
Also, one last thing is this one. This is a really corrupt, undemocratic process.
Oh.
If you look at the way we are dealing with, we have caucuses, we have closed primaries, we have open primaries, we have coin flip, we have super delegates. I mean, when I hear Hillary talking about, I have 2.5 million people more than Bernie, this is fake, because in the caucuses, there are only a few hundreds of people.
Yeah.
So if these caucuses were primaries, probably this number will be different.
Yeah.
She won in the states where only Democrats could vote. He won in the states where also independents could vote. So all these numbers are fake.
They are.
They are not real. And someone should tell on her face, practically, you are lying. I mean, this is not true. I mean, yes, there are 2.5 million, but because the system is so corrupt, it's so anti-democratic. I never saw something like this in any country I lived.
Me neither. It's crazy.
Anything, it's a surprise. I mean, I think that people should really react to that when she talks about 2.5 million. How did you get these numbers?
Yeah.
Based on the fact that every state has its own rules?
Yes.
It's ridiculous. We are talking about the federal election, and nobody knew the governments of these states. I was even thinking, I want to sue the government of another states because the laws should be the same for every state.
I agree.
This is a federal election. We are not talking about your state elections. We are talking a federal election. You cannot have different rules in each state, and because your vote impacts my vote in another state, and this is illegal for me. It's very easy.
Yeah.
It's scary if you look at it. Forget for a moment the fact that the voter suppression things and so on, which is real in each state. But you are impacting my vote because you are creating new rules in another state, and you are completely distorting the process of electing at the federal level. All the people have to go to Congress.
Yeah.
And the president, of course.
You're so right. Thank you for that point, because the numbers mean nothing, really. The way the system's been, quite honestly. But anyway, well, thank you so much for coming and talking to us. And I'll be sharing this on the Utah for Bernie Sanders page. And I just hope some people will listen to you, and the fact that these things work in other places, and things really need to change. We really need to bring it back to we the people. So thank you.
You're very welcome. Bye.
Bye. Okay. Hey.
Hey.
Oh, thank you. I was just done actually. Just about to come.
Oh, print me later.